Welcome to Share Talk, the only podcast where investors come first.
Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here on Share Talk for Friday the 21st of August. Starting off with CapEx, we've got a nice little setup here, breaking the initial August resistance at 3.85 and while we're above, at 4.39, and while we're above that, looking for a top of broadening triangle there from March as high as 9 pence. Time frame on that, hopefully as soon as the end of September, if not a little bit before. I suppose we're still in bull mode while we hold above the old April resistance level at 3.6 pence, but ideally we don't go back below 4.39 over coming days. It looks as though the move here today is one with a bit of momentum. Next up is metal NRG, which I know somebody on Twitter was suggesting that there's news forthcoming. I suppose with stock market, there's normally not an announcement not too far away. But the current situation here, we've got a triangle there from the end of February. That was broken earlier this week, say roughly around the 0.52 level. But at least while we're above that uptrend line there from February, currently running around 0.46, 0.47. The upside here, obviously initially June resistance at 0.7, and then the overall picture up towards 1.1, 1.2 pence at the top of that rising trend channel from the end of November. Couldn't resist looking at Midotech Pharma. I think because again I saw somebody talking about the pre-market in the US and how the stock, the US version of the stock is on the move. Got a key reversal today to the upside so far, breaking yesterday's low and then breaking yesterday's high, bouncing off the 30-day moving average as well, which is what the shares did prior to the last spike through 50 pence, and I think before that as well, so that's all good. So above the 30-day line, 34 pence, looking for at least a retest of the August 53 pence resistance. We are the bigger target there up to that resistance line from January around 62 pence, and that's all valid while we hold above hopefully 34. On to non-standard, which has lots of very ardent fans apparently on social media. This is looking interesting. I think I covered it a bit before, a few days before, but interesting now that we've broken that line of resistance there from June and the 30-day moving average at around 5 pence, so above 5 pence, looking for further upside, at least to retest July resistance at 8 pence, and obviously after that, the top of that triangle is currently pointing to 30 pence, which seems rather ambitious, but obviously the initial target there at around 8 pence would sure please people. Early and end of day close back below the 20-day line at 4.69, really delaying the upside scenario. Onto a stock which is looking interesting just for one reason and one reason alone today, and that's because we've got this wonderful hammer type of price action, so the low of the day at 72 and then right back on the highs at the moment. End of day close above that line of resistance from the beginning of August, and the 20-day line at 77.7 pence could be the buy trigger for those who are cautious. And if we can get through 77 pence, then the target here is up to the top of that rising trend channel from last month through 100 pence. This stage really back below the 50-day line, way down at 68.6, really delaying the upside scenario for the shares. It managed to stay at or above the 50-day line for the best part of a month. On to Plutus Power Gen, and here you can see that we had a flurry up to the 200-day moving average at 0.08, but we've got the usual things we like here. Lots of green candles in the end of this triangle formation, breaking it at let's say 0.06.5, and end of day, end of week close today above the top of the triangle could set the shares on the way to the upside scenario, which is as high as the top of the February price channel at 0.19. If you're cautious on the stock, maybe wait for an end of day close above the 200-day moving average sometime next week if we get that stop loss back below 0.06 in the April uptrend line. Now a stock which has become something of a favorite this week for one or two reasons. Interesting to see the current situation for Supply Me in terms of the consolidation we've had after the 10-bagger move that happened earlier this month. Interesting that we're holding basically around the that line of resistance from April, and another one at the top of the range so far, 0.95, so 0.6 to 0.95 the current range, and the upside valid obviously why we hold above yesterday's low at roughly at 0.5. If you're a fan of the stock and there seem to be one or two people around, the best case scenario target at the moment is up to a May resistance line projection currently heading towards 1.5, but that, as I said, is valid only while we hold above the 0.5 area. And don't forget, I'll be interviewing the company on Tuesday for Share Talk. Next stock is the one that sort of spiked up quite strongly today, CIMIC Atlantis. Be interesting to see whether the shares can hold above the previous resistance there from the early part of July, 24 pence. So an end of day close above 24 pence. And CIMIC could be on its way towards the top of the broadening triangle from May, up to 40 pence. At this stage, only really back below 21, 22 pence, really delaying the upside scenario. Wonderful trend on the next stock, Sunrise Resources, over the recent past. Really has been impressive, and it looks like we've got a fresh kick to the rally now with this great looking daily candle so far, opening at the low, so far at the high. The view is that while we're above 0.34 pence on an end of day close basis, Sunrise could hit the top of that June resistance, June price channel currently pointing at 0.65 pence plus. Only really back below the August uptrend line or July trend line there at 0.3, really delaying the upside scenario, but ideally we hold above 0.34. Surface Transforms, rather obscure stock, but thought I'd cover it just in case it turns out to be one of the big movers over the next few weeks. Situation here, we're coming off the back of a bear trap below the 200-day line, 21.85. We've also had gaps higher before, so that shows that there's decent momentum on the upside, even though this is a rather illiquid situation. As far as what the outlook is here, really above 26, 27 pence, last month's high, looking for a top of 2020 price channel target as high as 42 pence, perhaps as soon as the end of the next month, and that's valid while we hold above the 200-day line at 21 pence. Just a couple to go in this marathon session that's become. First is Tower Resources, where we've got the classic consolidation at the low end of the range, and then the break of a 2-3 month trend line. Also above the 50-day line, that's the blue line there at 0.33. So above the 50-day line, looking for a breakout eventually up to the top of that rising trend channel from January. Obviously, if you're cautious on the stock, you're probably waiting for an end of day close above 0.4 pence, because that's been the block over the recent past. Another stock which is stopped, hopefully finished its bumping along the bottom, Tolu Energy, nice falling wedge break there, breaking the 20-day line and that May resistance line at 2.06 pence. Above that on an end of day close basis, looking for a top of May triangle target as high as 3.8 pence. Be cautious on the shares, maybe wait for an end of day or end of week close above the 50-day line, just around 2.25 pence. But recovery in the air, at least while we hold above the 1.8 pence support of this month and basically last month as well. That's it from me today. More updates soon.
Thank you for listening. Remember to visit our website for more news and other podcasts at www.share-talk.com.